Thank you. Can you hear me? Perfect. When my daughters, see, that's the way we handle water technology. When my daughters knew that I was coming to Israel, they said, what are you going to do? I said, I'm supposed to be performing at a circus. And if you notice in a circus, and if it's a regular circus, or if it's like even a forward-looking circus like Cirque du Soleil, for any of you all who've been to Las Vegas, there's always one thing, which is in, whether it's Ringling Barnum Brothers or it's Cirque du Soleil where they have no animals, they always have one common character, the clown, right? So I'm going to take the role of the clown today. So that's what they've asked me to do, which I will be the clown. I'm going to speak in English because the only alternative is Hindi, which I don't think you understand. So I'm going to speak in English, so bear with me. But because I'm speaking to an international audience in English, I'm going to give you a presentation that I've only given once before, and I've only given it outside the United States. Okay? And I'm going to give it a third time next week in England, where I hope they pay me in pounds. So what I'd like to talk to you about is this particular presentation, which is Welcome to the Age of Jazz. And the background is very simple. When I gave this presentation 6 months ago, in October of 2006, I was asked by Maurice Levy to speak to approximately 300 people in Monaco, the Principality of Monaco. And this is what he told me. He said the audience is going to basically be 300 people who have nothing in common. Okay? There's going to be 100 people who are heads of interactive agencies, interactive startups. So like the head of Blinks and the head of NetVibes, etc. So something must have happened. So that was common. But if I were going to talk to them about sex, I may not have had my job the next day. So I thought, what is a universal language? It isn't Hindi, it isn't English, it isn't Hebrew. It's music. Right? So I decided to talk about music. So I'm going to talk to you about music. Does that make sense? Okay. So when I go outside the United States where they talk in English, I talk in English about music. Okay? But believe it or not, this is actually also about innovation. So with that being said, let me sort of start. So this is 3 years ago, and remember this presentation I have not updated, and there's a reason I've not updated. It was written in October 2006, so about 6 months ago. A lot of us, agency and clients, do things like 3-year plans and 5-year plans, right? So if you were doing a 3-year plan, 3 years before October 2006, I can guarantee you, you would not have thought that the future of marketing would be affected by companies like this. YouTube, iTunes, Google, Flickr, MySpace. And if you tell me that you did, I would tell you you are a liar. The reason is because 3 of these 5 companies did not exist 3 years ago. Okay? So you couldn't tell me that this was going to affect marketing when they didn't exist. But more interestingly, 3 weeks before October 2006, this is what happened. NBC, which is the national broadcasting company in America, introduced NBBC. Apple talked about ITV. The head of Viacom got fired because he didn't buy MySpace. Windows launched their new search, Windows Live. Google bought YouTube. And Amazon talked about Unbox, where you could watch videos online. So this was October 2006, 3 weeks prior. So forget about 3 years prior, 3 weeks prior. There's a reason I've not updated this chart. This chart is outdated. We are in April 2007. Google has not recently bought YouTube, it bought DoubleClick. Right? Apple isn't talking about iTV. It's now called Apple TV. It's out there. Everyone is expecting the iPhone. NBBC isn't talking about NBBC. They're talking about the NBC Universal Fox distribution deal. So in 6 months, what we thought was big news 6 months ago is old news. So in effect, the rate of change is so fast that it doesn't make sense to do 5-year, 10-year, and 3-year planning. And I often tell my clients, if you want me to wait around for a year or two for you to make a decision, I think I'm going to have to find a new client. Because I'm pretty sure you will not be the client. Because this is the rate of change that we're sort of living in. When you go and you speak with clients, and all of you all are clients, many of you all, and many of you all work with clients, and I have the privilege of flying all over the world, and immediately after this, I will be whisked away to a plane to go to Miami, and that will be my flight number 45 in non-skipping this year. Okay? I get to see lots and lots of different senior people. And I ask them, as a service provider, you want to solve clients' pain, right? So you say, what pains you? And they tell me stuff, and I don't listen to what they're actually telling me. I listen to how they are telling me what they're telling me. So they will tell me things like, I want a viral campaign like Subservient Chicken. Give me something like BMW films. And I say, I listen, I say, yes, I take notes. And then I say, what's really bothering you is this. Which is, how do you stay abreast of change? And there are 5 changes that are basically happening. And if there's one slide that you should remember, it's this slide. Which is basically what we call time shifting, place shifting, shape shifting, power shifting, and speed shifting. Time shifting is very simple. Disney is one of our clients. Between the time a movie is introduced, when I was growing up in India, between the time a movie was introduced in the US and the movie was introduced in India, it was 4 years. Okay, so James Bond, who I loved when I was growing up, 4 years from the time it was introduced in the US and the time it came to poor old India. Last time I was in India, Casino Royale came out the same day in India as it came out in London and New York. Because if not, you would have a DVD burned through BitTorrent right there outside the theater. The official time between the time a movie is released legally on DVD and the movie is released in a movie theater is now 12 weeks. 12 weeks. That's going to go down to 0. So that's how far time is being squeezed. Place shifting. Many of you all are familiar with Slingbox. This famous book, The World is Flat by Thomas Friedman, is about place shifting. Right? If I'm sitting, and I won't because I'm going to be interrogated because I'm flying El Al, okay? But if I'm sitting, nothing to do today at the airport, and since this country has broadband access pretty much everywhere, I would open my computer and watch the TV in my home in Chicago using Slingbox. It's a $200 box, and I basically will watch Sopranos. I missed the last episode of Sopranos. I've got it taped on my digital video recorder, and I will watch it. So that's place shifting. Similarly, there's shape shifting. What's analog and what's digital in a world that where all electronic media are going digital? Interesting.